Well, I mean, the red imported fire ant, he's not nearly as bad as he used to be. If you all have been here a long time. Yeah, well, they cycle. You're right. They cycle. But I'll tell you another thing. It depends on where you are. Okay. Yeah. See,
they're bad out there.
There's places where anybody in here that happens to know or heard of the big-headed ants. If you have the big-headed ants, they run those fire ants out. But if you don't have the big-headed ants, they do well. And I have seen them back. I live up in St. Lucie County, and the fire ants have been bad up there too. But the problem with the red imported fire ant, long story short, is they breed and reproduce airborne. So they swarm, the kings and queens swarm and mate in the air and then come down and land. So, you know, to try to set up any kind of a barrier to keep them from coming in on your property is really impossible. The best thing I can tell you to do is to use one of the many good baits, and if at all possible, do it in the springtime. Because if you catch them in the springtime, that'll affect your whole year of how. Yes. Yeah, baiting outside in the springtime is the best thing you can do. And when all else fails, read the directions on the products you use, you know, because it'll tell you a lot. What's the first thing people go to a fire ant mound and they kick the mound and then they dump stuff on it. And if you were to read the directions, it would say, do not disturb the mound and sprinkle 2 tablespoons around it. No, we kick it and dump a half a bag on it. So, and it's human nature. It's human nature. But the fact of the matter is you want them to find the bait in their natural foraging activity and bring it back in. And a tablespoon of that bait will wipe out the biggest mound you ever saw.
Orthene stuff?
Orthene is a different act. That's not a bait. That's an active act, you know, pesticide that they contact. And then insects are social. Anybody that's heard the talk on the bees, that was very cool. I enjoyed that. I'm real passionate about bees. But they're social insects like the bees. So the orthene, a couple of the ants come up and get it on them, and then they go back down in the mound. And as they communicate and touch each other, they get a little orthene on each other, and they spread it, for lack of a better word, like a disease through the colony. So orthene works well like that. It's not quite as safe a product, you know, as far as a bait. Baits to me are better, but you read the directions on them. You know, they'll tell you, don't put it out if the lawn is wet. So you may have had the best intentions and you went out before work in the morning or something, there's dew all over the grass, and you said, all right, I didn't kick it, and I'm only putting a tablespoon around it, but the grass was wet. And it's a lipid bait, these baits, so kind of defeated your purpose too. So, you know, I respectfully say when all else fails, read the directions, because it'll really will tell you how to use it properly. So.